Say, man, my stomach is bubbling. I just watched some boo boo, but I'm gonna welcome you to the real. That's all I can tell you. It's the war zone. I got my good friend Donovan Sadiq, the Nubian Queen Demetria K, and I am the 5-star general. Say, man, my stomach hurting right now, man. My stomach is hurting, man. Say, man, I want to welcome you to the war zone. We stepped back an hour later. You know, in all actuality, I was a little tired. I'm gonna be honest, I was a little tired, and my co-host let me catch my breath. So we're waiting on Reginald Gordon to come in. He having some difficulties, but Reggie's gonna come in. If he doesn't come in, we'll just do what we normally do, which is give you the real. Now I know back in slavery, they had this thing called buck dancing. They had this thing called buck dancing. And I don't know if y'all really want to deal with this show. I don't know if people can really stand to hear the truth. Because the one thing I learned about the truth, it ain't what you really want to hear some days. It ain't what you really want to hear. You can't handle, like Jack Nicholson said, you can't handle the truth. So I'm gonna say this here. To sit and watch somebody do what these clowns just did, it actually gave me diarrhea. It actually gave me diarrhea. I'm being honest with you. I think that's Reggie right there, y'all. Hold on. Turn your camera on, Reggie. I watch you bring on Lily Sector, and once again, you put the kid gloves on just like you did with Ellis. You didn't ask the tough questions. You're not good interviewers. Because if there's legalities that you have to get around to get a question asked, you need to learn how to do that. Any politician that chooses to come on this show, don't think we're not going to ask you the tough questions, because we are. I think that Demetria looks just like Gayle King, and some of y'all going to feel like R. Kelly. Don't come here and think that we ain't going to ask you the tough questions. Jared Davis is not in court. He's not in court. Ain't nobody filed nothing on Davis as far as his residency. But yet the questions couldn't be answered. They couldn't be asked. And you sit there and you play with these people, and then you want everybody to believe that we need to vote Democrat. I say you need to research both sides. Because I work with some Republican incumbents right now that do a great job in the African American community. And it's time for us to stop sleeping on people that just can get the job done. We get, in this thing, oh, it's Democrat or die. We used to be Republicans, and we got tricked into being Democrats. When we were Republicans, we owned something. We had better schooling. And since we started messing with these people, we ain't got nothing. Demetria, welcome to the show, sweetheart. Give me your ideologies of maybe the little bit that you might have heard, because this is ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous.
Hello, everybody that's watching. Good Friday to you. I will just say this because I didn't watch a whole lot of it. And again, one day I'm going to stop using the excuse that I'm not fully abreast of Houston politics. I'm learning. But I did hear the last part of it where they said the person, what's her name, Lily, somebody that came on the show, told them there are certain questions that they couldn't ask, I guess, due to legalities and all of that. But as an interviewer, you ask anyway, especially, questions that people want to know, and let them tell you well, due to legal concerns or, at the behest of my lawyer, I can't answer those questions. But at least you get out there and you ask it, it could be staged, I don't know, but at least let the people know I did try to, ask the question so you guys can get an answer. But just to have for me, a ready-made statement, allegedly, a ready-made statement to say, well, we tried to ask, but we were told not to ask. And it's true. Sometimes people you interview will say, well, I'd like to talk about those things if that's okay. But I feel like if you're a politician and you're coming on to talk to constituents or potential voters, I don't think that there should be such a thing of things you won't talk about. Right? Because let's say if it's something that alleges you did something, if you're innocent, I don't think you have a problem talking about it. For example, not to say that he's innocent, I don't know if he is or not. Joe Biden did an interview on MSNBC today where he denied the sexual assault allegations. Now, it did take him a long time to do so, but at least he came on there to deny it. I didn't watch it, so I don't know if he was asked about it, but if people are going to vote for you or they have voted for you, I think they should know all there is to know about you.
Donovan?
Amen. I don't understand why it is that, okay, and I know when you're running for office, you want to be seen and let the people see who you are and get an idea of the kind of person you are. Because sometimes you can pick that up by looking at somebody and their mannerisms and all that. But, why go on a show if you're not going to answer the questions? I just,
it's the reason you came on the show.
Exactly. And whatever questions it is. I mean, I know there's certain legalities, but all of the questions or the real juicy, the real questions that people want to know, you can't answer? Just doesn't make any sense.
Well, I tell you what, on my page, I've made a decision. I'm a selfish little dude. If you want to watch that show, go on over there. Next time I catch you over there, I'm deleting you from my page. You are going to get the truth. If you're going to come on my page, you're going to be faithful and you're going to get the truth. Now, if you want to go over there and hang out with them suckers, then go over there. But they do not represent the Black community in the city of Houston. No, not at all. Because these people, and I don't care, everybody gets mad and well, man, you're making blanket statements and you're making the people in the Democratic Party mad until you can show me what you've done for my community. You've done nothing. Therefore, I will take that blanket and cover all you black fuckers up. Because that's what it is. I don't owe you people anything. I don't want nothing from you people. You do nothing for us to begin with. It's great that you're standing out there giving out masks. But see, the way I raised my kids, Demetria and Donovan, the way I raised my kids, when they would come home, Pops, I made the honor roll. Cool, I'm going to bed. Man, you not happy I made the honor roll? You supposed to do that anyway. So an elected official passing out a mask, you ain't doing nothing special. Supposed to do that anyway. Feeding the community right now, you supposed to do that anyway. You don't get no brownie points for that. Remember, you don't do nothing for us anyway. So you're supposed to do what you're doing right now. You are a public servant. It's time for you to serve the public. So no, you don't get a pass. And the Democratic Party right now have taken 3 kids. They're using them to their advantage. You've given somebody a platform, a microphone, a couple of shirts, and maybe a couple of dollars. And what you're doing is tearing up their reputation. You're destroying their character. But if you don't care about your reputation and character, then why should we? Maybe you didn't have any character to begin with. You see what I'm saying? I just feel that when it's all said and done, we have not moved the needle on the Democratic side in 60 years. 60-something years since the Civil Rights Movement. We've not done it. I don't care what they say they did. It wasn't enough. You had 60 years to do some things and you didn't do it. My neighborhood looks the same way it did when I was a kid in high school. And that's 34 years ago. And some of these people been sitting in office for 34 years. Yes, they need term limits. They definitely need term limits because a lot of these people just need to go like yesterday. They need to go like yesterday. And I could swear that Biden and even old Trump has been asked questions when an investigation was going on. So why can't you answer them? And if you're a politician and you don't have thick skin, now this is the one thing that I liked about Obama. I didn't like very much. He had some very thick skin as an elected official because he got called the N-word, he got called monkeys, all kinds of things. But he went to work every day with a smile on his face and he dealt with it. If you want to be an elected official, you need to go to the store. They sell Planters peanuts. Get you 2 of them out the pack once you pay for them. You need a set of nuts. That's the first thing. Get you a set of nuts. Get you some Planters peanuts. And 2, you need to have tough skin. What is wrong with these old soft politicians nowadays, Demetra?
So is it that the politicians are soft, or is it that the people are soft? Because I think when the politicians know the people are soft, then they can have their way. You know, I just feel like if you're going to be in journalism, which is, you know, what you're doing when you have a forum like this, and you're going to have people come on, you're going to have to be able to ask first the tough questions and then the questions that the people want. You know, otherwise you have to just have a phone conversation and talk to them directly. You need to address the politician, whoever's on the show, in a fashion that would satisfy your watchers, because the audience wants to know what's in it for me. What's in it for me if I tune in to watch so-and-so politician? Are they going to say something that's actually helpful to me? Give me some new information. Like, why should I watch? Now, if I'm going to watch, you give, you know, a polished speech, a campaign speech, you know, and highlight all the great things that you're doing and all the turkeys that you've given away. If you're going to do that, then I would rather go, you know, I'd rather have a date or, you know, do something else. And so, again, so the politicians are only going to act according to the people. If the people are soft, the politicians are going to fall in line. Now, if the people are going to hold them accountable, or somebody's interviewing them, I'm going to play hardball as they do on Chris Matthews' show. I haven't watched it in a long time, but somebody's going to play hardball. You know, it's really just to get the questions that people want to know answers to. But, you know, it does make you wonder, well, why would you agree to an interview like that? Most people wouldn't agree to an interview where we're going to talk about all the things that make you look good. And it's not necessary to say you're going to have a got you interview. A got you interview is when you set people up. But I want to ask the stuff that people want to know. What happened to the X amount of dollars that was supposed to go to this and that and the other? You said you were going to do this, but you didn't do this. So, you know, people want to know those things. Donovan?
Well, you know, it's just weird.
Man. Let me mute my microphone.
Yeah, you know, it's just weird that around the nation, we have the same issues when it comes to these politicians. Now, I find it really weird that when a politician runs, the first thing I do is I go to their website and I kind of read it to see what they stand for. And we have a city council election coming up, and I noticed that the person that's running for District 1 in my city, I said she had on the platform, she had nothing on there. And so I go on my show, and I let everybody know, hey, this person isn't saying one thing. There's nothing there. She said, it's just like Jerry just said, she gave out some masks. She's been in the community for 30 years. What the hell is this? A popularity contest? Is this high school government? This is real life adult stuff. And so the minute that I put her on blast, the whole Democratic Party of the Inland Empire would just let me have it, which is fine. You know, like I said, I know what's going on. But don't you think that people need to know that you stand for nothing?
I tell you what, man. I tell you what. They want us as African Americans to vote blue, but you won't admit that you've not done nothing for us in a long, long time. You want us to believe that the Republican Party is the devil. But in my community, I deal with Republicans, the Kubashes, the Mike Knoxes. These guys are in the community more than African American politicians. So why do I have to believe because you got an issue with Trump that all the Republicans are the devil? All Republicans are not good. All Democrats are not good. Both sides are not all bad. You feel what I'm saying? But when I look at who's doing what for their people, the Republican Party is doing what they need to do for their people. And in the process, they help us, they help us. But the Democratic Party, the bulk of them dudes and them women, they do for themselves. And unless I'm totally wrong and I live on Mars, then this is what I see every single day. So no, me as a voter, I want to research every candidate on both sides of the party lines. And if this is the race that I have to decide, then that's what I'm going to do. But it right now, I'm telling y'all, and it's just Monroe, it really ain't a tough decision in a lot of these races, man, because it ain't Democrat. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. I don't care. But it ain't Democrat in some of these races. I just can't rock with them like that. I can't rock with them. So if you plan on coming to the war zone, I think Dimitri will be very cordial. Donovan will be very, very nice. Gary Monroe will be respectful, but your ass gonna get them tough questions. And if it ain't what you want, don't book this show. We don't buck dance on this show. We don't sell out on this show. I am sorry. These people deserve to hear the truth. And that's what it is. Reggie, can you hear me? Reggie? Reggie? I don't think he can. He's not here. I can't. We can't hear Reggie. So we'll keep talking about this discussion. So let's talk about some of these. I think that people get politics a little twisted. They're so caught up on Trump. When I run up on some of them, I ask the question. Well, we know who's running for president, but who's running for Congress? Who's your U.S. senator? They don't know. Well, hold on. Ain't y'all watching every day in Washington? Big Daddy Trump can't do a lot of things because they won't let him do it.
Well, the funny thing is, you ask them who's their state assembly member, somebody that's directly affects them. Who's their, supervisor? A lot of people have no clue.
Go ahead. I'm listening. I'm put some of these people's questions up.
Yeah, a lot of people they have no clue how state government works. I mean, it's great if you know who the president is and your senator, and you should know who your senator is, of course. But local politics is what matters to you and affects you directly.
On the local level, and we need to talk about y'all local level one day too. On the local level in the city of Houston, they turned the county blue 2 years ago. They turned it blue. And ever since they turned it blue, the cost of living them went up. Crime has gone up. Gang violence is at an all-time high. And the stuff that I'm naming, ain't nobody seems to have solutions for the problems. But we still need to go out there and vote Democrat. You have a mayor who seems to always be caught up in some type of corruption. But we support Mayor Turner. I don't rock with criminals. I don't rock with him. And that's what it is. But we got to support him because he's black. Why? Why? Because he's black? It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
You know, it's funny how you say like 2 years ago your thing went blue. 6 years ago, the 41st district went blue for the first time in 20 something years out here in California. And in those 6 years, where Demetra and I live, it's called the Inland Empire. It's 60 miles outside of LA. A bunch of little towns out here. They now call it Corruption Empire because everything out here has now gone. Demetra, how many federal investigations have there been out here? I mean, it's just been like the wild, wild west out here. Democrat.
Yeah, there's been quite a few. I hate to say it, but corruption and politics they're synonymous. They go together. They just do. Everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people can be bought. Donovan always says it's not that they've sold out, they just bought in. You know, okay, fine, here's my price. What do you want me to do? And when do you want me to do it? You know, because you ever notice too, a lot of politicians that are doing the buying in, if you look at let's say their financial records before they became a politician, a lot of them were in financial dire straits, whether they were in foreclosure, they had bankruptcies, you know, they was driving a hoopty. And then pretty soon, once they, you know, get onto the seat, you start seeing the Gucci bags show up. And, oh, that's a mighty fine Lexus you're driving. Weren't you driving a Volkswagen last week? And all of a sudden, the house is out of foreclosure. And, you know, so to me, those are visual signs that a lot of people don't pay attention to, because out here, I think city council people get paid upwards of $2,000, $1,000 in cash, if you will, and then $1,000 more in stipends. And so, and a lot of them don't have jobs, but all of a sudden it's like, all right, you're doing it kind of big there, you know? And so like, obviously you're getting some money from somewhere. And then you notice that all the policies and the laws that nobody wants, but that certain developer wants, all of a sudden those things start to come to pass out here. It's warehouses. There's warehouses everywhere. You have warehouses in high-end parts of the city. You drive out of your driveway, your $700,000 home, and there's a warehouse right across the street. And there's trucks, you know, lined up on the streets. And so people don't want that, but the developers do. And so a lot of times politicians are they just buy in. You know what? I'm not even going to try to save the district or whatever. I'm going to save myself. And I'm going to take all the money in the process and get all the things I want. And then you notice those same big time donors, developers or whatever, they put all this money into that candidate. Even though the people don't want that candidate, they put all the money in there and then voila, they've won again. So that's why I said I just think corruption and politics, they just find the right person. A person like you, Gary, and a person like Donovan, and I'm not trying to be negative, but you two will never, ever, never, ever, 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 did I say ever, get elected to a seat.
Exactly. I already know it.
Not because the people don't want you, because a lot of people probably really do, but the machine, the machine that's fueling all this politics, they ain't gonna have it because you two can't be bought. They don't want somebody on there that's gonna tell them no. What they want is a rubber stamp. Yes, there you go.
Let me ask you this. Now, this is where we're gonna curb this conversation.
Okay.
In the last 12 years I've been watching, and as much as people complain about the Trump administration, and I get it, but I've been watching an increase in the number of Democrats that are getting caught violating the law. If we go back 12 years at least, we're gonna see Kwame Brown. I mean, Kwame, what was his name? Up in Detroit.
Kilpatrick.
Kwame Kilpatrick. We're gonna see Ray Nagin in New Orleans.
He got out.
Yeah, he just got out. But what I'm saying is, as we start to go around the country, it seems like the Democrats are every day, every other day, every year, being more involved in corruption but try to steer the conversation over to the Republicans. And the thing is I notice both parties, y'all tell me if I get it wrong. Each party, certain parts of every single city, whether big or small, resembles the parties. Republicans, middle class, rich people. I go drive down Westheimer, man, I'm feeling like I'm in Beverly Hills. Republicans. I go drive down Cullen Boulevard, and I got to go real slow when I do because I'll tear the axle off my car. It looks like a war zone. Why is it, since the Democrats are doing such a great job, why is it that in every major city in America, all of our neighborhoods look the same? We all have the same problems because y'all all running the same blueprint. Donovan?
I mean, you hit it right on the nail. Here in Orange County, which is like, there's a TV show about how Orange County is, it's a high-end area. And for years, it was Republican, just went blue 2 years ago. But of course, there's a lot of white flight going on that, things are changing and gentrification. But absolutely, a longtime not Staples Center, the Forum, Inglewots, as we call it out here, gentrified, moved all the Black folks up out of that neighborhood. These people are sitting on $1 million Cracker Jack houses. $1 million. Who represents that area, part of that area? Maxine Waters. How much is Maxine Waters worth? $80 million, they say.
And you know what, Donovan and Dimitri? I'm looking at the comments. For some reason tonight, they're not popping up, so that's why I can't post them, y'all. Why is it every time we get into a discussion like this here, the first thing the Black people want to say, well, the Republicans doing it too. But the Republicans taking care of their people. The Democrats ain't taking care of their people.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody got mad when Trump said those things about Elijah Cummings in Baltimore. He said it's a slum. It looks horrible. It's dangerous in Baltimore. Black America went crazy. Well, hold on. I done been through Baltimore. Ain't nothing Trump said was a lie. He also said we send money down there every year. So if y'all not getting no money, you need to talk to your representative.
And we got to think about this. Elijah Cummings got elected to that seat in 1993. Trump got elected in 2016. So you mean to tell me Black representation of that area, and it looks like that right now?
No, another thing I noticed, Dimitri, that when gentrification comes through, think about it, and you push the Black folk out the ghetto, you go create affordable housing in somebody's suburbs that was just perfectly fine before you did it. Then 6 months after you do it, it resembles where they came from.
Wait, have you been to Moreno Valley?
It's a blueprint.
Yeah, Jerry, have you been to Moreno Valley where I live? Is that exactly what happened, Demetra, with the gentrification out here? Everybody from LA has moved out to where I live, which is where our Air Force base is. There was nothing out here back in the day. And all of the trouble in my city, because Black folks, we ain't going to move into the old part of the city. We want to move into the new part of the city. The ghetto bird, all the carjackings, everything is happening that has never happened over here before. When you see all these license plates, they say Long Beach, Los Angeles, Culver City. All the problems now are here in my city. So you hit it right on the nail.
You know what's crazy? Y'all bear with me. I've been eating all day. Is we don't want to admit that's what's going on. All we want to keep doing, and I'm watching the comments even right now. But the Republican, it ain't no but. Stop worrying about the Republican Party and get your Democratic Party together, man. Get your Democratic Party together, man. Well, the Republicans still too, I tell you what, they good at not getting caught. Because y'all keep getting caught. You getting caught on the local level, the state level, the national level. And the whole time you're doing this here, you're not being public servants. And it's the old cliche to me, black man, white man. I can't worry about the white man. I got to deal with the black man every day. And you can't keep blaming all your problems on the white man when it's really the black man that's screwing you. Miss K, you seem like you got something on your mind.
Y'all said a whole lot. But I'm gonna have to look at it from my point of view. So I want to address what you guys said as far as when you move black people into the good neighborhoods, then the good neighborhoods go to hell, for lack of better words. All they've done was change locations, right?
Exactly.
With the same mindset. And so whoever's providing these public housing or this free housing or whatever it is, why don't you start some programs that help people change their mindset? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Just because I change the addresses don't mean I change my mind. And so, like with Democrats, if they're really interested in black people, since we're talking about black people here, if they're really interested in helping black people do better, implement some other things. Don't just give us free housing. Help us, maybe reprogram and learn how to be better and be upwardly mobile and, how to not just move into a housing unit that's free or next to free, but teach us how to be home owner, how to be business owner. See, that's the part that's they're leaving off, because you're going to give people stuff that haven't, they have, I don't want to say jacked up mindset, because a lot of it is just learned behavior. But we need those things. We need to figure out how to reprogram the way we think, because we're always going to take that mindset with us wherever we go. And it was something else y'all said, but no, I just, I think black people, I know we need a lot of help, not just giving us things, whether it's some food stamps or cash aid or housing. We need to be built up from the mind up, not just physically. We need to have a whole paradigm shift of how we see ourselves and, basically learn how to do for self. But under a lot of these programs, you're not doing for self. We're just medicating, putting a Band-Aid over the problem of the systemic racism and institutional racism, which is why we need public housing, because a lot of us are shut out of fair loans and housing and all that other stuff. So I hear what y'all saying, but I can't blame it all on black people that we move from one neighborhood to the next and say, oh well, there goes the neighborhood, because that that's a little bit how can I say this, misleading, if you will.
I'm gonna say this, that's why this program is so important, because when you bring elected officials on here, the first step is holding them accountable. Just like you done heard me bash Rodney Ellis, am I correct? You've heard me just get in him. Okay, so did I help the hood? No, because I have to have an end game. So I ain't gonna just keep talking. Eventually, I gotta sit down with this man. And when I sit down with him, I'm not sitting down to talk about what I bashed you on. I'm here the solutions to what I was talking about. This is what we need done. You see what I'm saying? But I think that people have to understand, when you take all this free money, whether it's low-income housing or this free money, it's something else attached to that. Now, Democrats, tell me if I'm wrong. Do you create programs to keep poor people poor? Do you create programs to keep them dependent on the government? This is what you were talking about. So instead of giving me, I don't want your free housing. Can you put some resources in the neighborhood? Can you build something and increase, the economic value of the neighborhood? Can you put some jobs in the neighborhood? I can go make my own money. I can find me somewhere to live. I don't want your free money, because I know it's something else that comes with it. And the thing that comes with it is I get to keep being poor the rest of my life.
And can you really be at home, or is it really your home and you can't do what you want? You know, thinking of the movie Claudine. Remember when her worker came over? She couldn't have no man. She couldn't have an iron. She couldn't have this. It's the same thing with public housing. You can't do all you want to do in your home. When you at home in your own home, you can do what you want. And so that, again, that caters to the mindset of I'm not really free. You know, I don't have any real ownership here. So if I come from an environment where I don't care about things, I'm just going to bring that same attitude to my new home, no matter where it's at. And so to your point, and the point I made earlier, we need to start putting some programs in those neighborhoods, but it doesn't do the Democratic Party any good to, as Marcus Garvey said, up you mighty race, accomplish what you will. Because when we enable you to do that, then you don't need us anymore. And we know as long as you need us, you're going to do everything we want. When you talk to most Black people, and the first thing they'll say about Democrats is, oh, they're for the people. Oh, they help people. I swear, oh God, and 12 disciples. That's probably the number one thing they say. Oh, they're for the people. Oh yeah. Well, what do? Well, they help they help people get stuff. Like what? What do they help you get that you really couldn't get yourself? And so that's what we've been taught. Oh, they help, they're for the people. But if you're really for the people, that means you would help the people be for themselves, and that's helping them to, be self-sufficient. But it doesn't serve the Democratic Party to do that. Otherwise, they are shit creek without a paddle if they teach us to be on our own without them.
Donovan Sadiq, let me say this, and then I want you to chime in. It seems like every other race of people at one time or another find a reason to come together. They find a reason to come together, but they put their people first to figure out what's best for them, what they need to do, and where they need to go. Why does that seem to be a problem with Black people?
Okay, I'm just going to give you a honest answer that I think is one of the main problems. Lack of Black male leadership in the Black community. It seems to me from the time that the Black woman bought into the I don't need a man, which the Now movement was the freedom of the white woman separating herself from the white man, and the Black woman said, me too. That was the start of the whole thing. And we've raised a whole generation of young men that won't stand up because, and I'm not making excuses, but some of us don't know. We don't even know what chivalry is, because a woman's been raised, I don't need no man to open no door for me. I don't need no man, we're on that stuff. So if we don't have strong leaders, then, a good example of, like on their show earlier today, Demetra and I were joking and stuff, but if a Black man tells you to stay your butt in the house, the sister ain't even listening. She's just, I'm doing my own thing. So when you got the diversiveness in the community, we're not going to go anywhere because we lost respect for each other.
Demetra, what does, if you could build the perfect Black politician, it's for both of y'all, what would that person embody?
Well, for me, when I think of a politician, I think of somebody that should be a leader. Now, a leader is not someone that barks orders and says do this, do that. A leader is, let's go, we're going to. And a leader also duplicates other leaders. They teach other people how to do it too. And so for me, a good Black politician would really be for the people. Ask the people, what is it that you need? Now, don't just ask me because it's election season. I want you to have your notepad. I want you to take some notes, and I actually want you to go and put some things to work. I want you to actually be in the community. Don't come out when it's election, you kissing the babies and handing out turkeys. I want to be able to take out the garbage and check the mail and see you walking the neighborhoods and checking on people. I want you to know people by their names. And I actually want you to care. If I say, listen, my street it's garbage everywhere. I want you to help us. I don't want you to do it by yourselves, but I want you to get with us to figure out a good action plan that we can put in place to make sure those things are taken care of, not just for this election season. I want to see you as much as I see the mailman. And I want you as a Black politician to know that it's not just your job to stay at the desk pushing papers, and doing the will of your donors. Your job is to do the will of your people so that you can get elected again. That's what I would like for me would be a perfect Black politician and be Black first, regardless and unapologetically.
Now, this is the second part to your question. Let's go back when we had all the presidential candidates. Which one of those African Americans fit your criteria?
You talking about this election cycle?
This election cycle, when we had all the candidates, the Kamalas, the Cory Bookers, and which one of these Black politicians that were there actually fit your criteria?
Is this a thing like I have to do, or?
No, what I want to show people is they're saying they agree with you. Okay, so if we had all these people in the pool again running for president with the Yangs and all of them, but let's look at the African American ones. None of those people fit your criteria. None of them. I don't care what nobody tell me. So now, this is the question for you, Donovan. Let's look at what we got left in all the races. Which one of them fits the criteria?
You got me on that one.
So let me hit you because you're from Cali.
Yeah, you got me on that one because
Maxine Waters fits your criteria.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Well, you know what though? I'm going to answer it this way. Why do we always have to wait on a politician to do what we know needs to be done in the community? Exactly. There was a person that ran for office, I think it was 4 years, Demetra, and this guy had the city take $500,000 and do street repairs. He had a crosswalk put in, and he did all of that through the council member that had the seat, because the council member didn't know what the hell they were doing. So he went in there and he got it done. But unfortunately, for some reason, the guy that gets the stuff done doesn't get elected.
Okay. So, Demetra, somebody said Cory Booker. Can you please enlighten them about Cory? Now, if you from where Cory from, you might want to listen right now. So, Cory Booker, can you? Because right now, we just going to call a spade a spade. Y'all from Cali. Where you originally from, Donovan?
California.
You from California. Demetra, you originally from Cali? Okay, so Donovan, we need you to be from somewhere else.
Okay, I was born in Louisiana. So
okay, so let's you gonna rep Louisiana. I'm gonna rep Texas. Demetra's gonna rep Cali. Tell me why Kamala Harris, Demetra, should be reelected.
You're asking me to tout that of Kamala Harris?
Yes.
I don't have a reason. Okay, listen, I'm speechless. I would have never.
That's a trick question.
I would have never voted for Kamala Harris. First of all, if I was going to vote for Kamala Harris, I might as well vote for Joe Biden, because both of them were tough on crime, and we know tough on crime means tough on Black people. So there's no way I would vote for Kamala Harris, and she was Black. She was only recently Black. Before, you can go Google it. And when she became a senator, it said the first Indian American senator. But then when she started to run and run for president, then she became Black. Of course, she went to Howard, and that's when she kicked her campaign. Just a whole bunch of smoke and mirrors. But Kamala was very adversary to Black people. And for those of you guys don't know, she started the truancy program in up north, to where it locked up disproportionately Black parents for their children missing school. One of those ladies, her name was I think Cherry Peoples or something like that. She went to jail because her child missed school, but her child missed school because she was sickle cell anemic, and the school knew that, but for whatever reason, they didn't communicate that with the authorities, the DA, or whatever. So they came, and the lady said, "You would have thought I murdered somebody." But the press was out there. I was, taken away in handcuffs and jailed. Now, it was also said that if your child missed too much school, you had to pay $1,000 fine, and if you didn't have the money, you go to jail. Now, then, of course, when that all came to light, she says, "Oh, nobody went to jail." And of course, when you're a liar, people come out and say, "Well, oh yeah, here is my bail receipt for me going to jail due to what you did to me." Also, out here in California, you guys have probably heard of the case Kevin Cooper. Kevin Cooper was said to be this notorious murderer, right? It said he escaped, which he did. He escaped from Chino prison, and while he was escaping, he killed this white family in Chino Hills, where all the DNA evidence and the testimonies and all kind of stuff says he didn't do it. And this man has had so many 11th hour appeals where he was going to the death chair or the gas chamber, and Kamala could have at least given him an opportunity to prove his innocence, and she said no. Now, luckily, Jerry Brown, the ex-governor, and a couple other people said, "No, we're going to give him a DNA sample because this man looks innocent, and if he's not, at least we won't send an innocent man to the gas chamber." Then she finally said, "Oh, okay." So she has been horrible for Black people. And I'm going to say this too, because people are floating her name around as vice president. If he puts Kamala on the ticket,
he did.
Well, not only that, but now you got two tough on crime individuals in the first chair and the second chair, first command and second command, two tough on crime people. Do you want those people who did things that were hateful to Black people running the country? Don't ask me to talk about Kamala.
Okay, so let me go to Donovan. Now you ain't from Louisiana. Donovan, you there or you froze?
He'll come back.
Okay, because I got the question for him. I agree with you on Kamala, but I tell you what, when she came through Houston, she was a rock star. They were loving her, and they ain't know. They were probably worshiping the devil. Didn't have a clue because they had not done the research on these people. They had not done the research on these people. I don't think it's anybody that can ride that ticket with Biden that could just push him over that hump. I think Trump is too strong. I just think Trump, while they've been sitting around fighting, trying to impeach him, knowing they couldn't do it, them people been working on the slick. They've been working, and they've been doing what they were supposed to do. So now they scrambling. You got Joe at the last minute, and it looking a certain way. But people need to understand. I don't think they got the firepower to pull it off. I don't think they have the firepower to pull it off. And you know what? I'm gonna say this about Trump. See, people say, "Oh, he's a racist." I can respect him for being who he is. Watch this. Imagine you standing at the bus stop every morning, and you walk up to the bus stop, and it's this white guy at the bus stop, and one morning you walk up, and he steps on your foot by mistake. Well, you kind of just look at it like, okay. So the next morning you go to the bus stop, he step on your foot, but he step a little bit harder. You're thinking, hold on a second. That might not be a mistake. So the third day you go to the bus stop, he step on your foot, smash your toe, squirm his shoe, look you in your eye, and call you the N-word. What you feel? Let me tell you what you should feel. The first two times you didn't know who he was. The last time you knew exactly who he was. And I'd rather know who the hell somebody is than to have somebody who fake standing in front of me with that foolishness. So if Trump is a racist, I know where I stand. Joe is no less racist than Trump is. I don't give a damn what nobody tell me. If you want to call Trump a racist, call Joe Biden one too. Because Trump has done less to Black people than Joe has done. Joe wrote a bill that incarcerated hundreds of thousands of Black people for mass amount of time. Can you show me the bill Trump did that wrote, that he authored that did that to us? But because you have so much hate You won't research and figure out if he's done anything decent. You automatically just run with your Democrats. All right, Donovan, you back?
I'm back.
Now, we talked about Kamala. Would you re-elect John Lewis?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Why?
And the reasons are as telling. If you guys have watched John Lewis in public, what does he talk about? Does he talk about current events, or does he talk about things that happened in the 1960s? It's everything that he did in the civil rights back in the 1960s. The only thing that he talks about current is Dreamers Act, DACA, LGBTQ. Nothing about Black. Nothing. There's no way that I would waste a vote on John Lewis. And like I said, much respect to him. He is a civil rights icon. So what? But I'll give him his respect if that's what he wants. He goes down to the Jerry Pettis Bridge to show you where he got his ass beat. Great. But as far as to reelect him right now at 70 something years old, not saying it's an age thing, but what the hell are you still doing running the government in your 70s?
You know what? It's simple why they still in their 70s. They got Michael Jordan syndrome. They don't know when to retire. And you'll tarnish your legacy. You'll play with your legacy when you don't know when to retire. You have some people in the state of Texas that should have been retired a long time ago. And people realistically firmly believe that no, you shouldn't get rid of a Sheila Jackson Lee. What I'm going to say is this here, and I mean what I say. The biggest problem we got, especially in the state of Texas, we don't know how to pass the baton. We don't understand that we've done our time. And it's time for you to train the next quarterback. You see what I'm saying? It's time for you to train the next quarterback. See, you're from California. People wouldn't understand this. So I'm going to go back to the 49ers. Joe Montana trained Steve Young. And when Joe left, the train kept moving. People in Texas do not know how to retire and pass the baton. We need seniority. No, we need people that can move the needle. I'm tired of the bullshit bills being passed. We need some people that can move the needle. Now, if you can't move the needle, now I understand why the state is red. Because everybody ain't going to keep playing with this, man. You know, everybody ain't going to keep playing with this. Ira Sandals, you're making comments, which is why Black people shouldn't vote. We don't know shit about politics and the games within. I say that's bullshit. We got just as much knowledge as anybody else. The problem is you got the wrong motherfuckers holding the ball. When the game is on the line, you got to put a game changer in the game, bro. You got to put somebody in there that ain't scared to take the last shot. That's why Kobe was the Mamba. That's why Jordan was a silent killer. You knew who was going to get the last shot. But we don't have that in politics, not on the Black side, because we don't want to train up the next generation of politicians. And we don't want to pass that baton. And as long as we refuse to pass that baton, we are going to keep staying at the back. We're going to have people thinking that we can't play the game. Come on, if it's a game, we can all learn it. We can all master the game. But when you ain't got somebody that want to teach you, it's going to take you a little bit longer. I showed up in high school, never played a down of football. And in 4 years, I end up in the Hall of Fame because I had a coach willing to teach me. Black politics is at a standstill because we don't have anybody willing to teach the next generation of politicians. Demetra?
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and agree with Ira in that I wouldn't say that we are too stupid to be engaged in politics. We have the knowledge, but knowledge without applying it is just knowledge. It has to be applied knowledge. The problem with us, I think, and I think politicians of all colors hold on to the power too long. Mitch McConnell, he's got to be 1,000. Was a Strom Thurmond. He died. He was almost 100, if not older. So power is hard to let go of. But I do agree with him in that we are not as informed as we should be. For example, you have 3 of us on here who are trying to put people on, and I think we're doing a good job. But they call it cognitive dissonance, where people have a hard time changing what they've been taught to believe. And so Black people believe that the Democrats are your party, regardless. I don't care what nobody says. My mama, your grandmama, your great grandma was all Democrats, and you need to be one too. Don't ask no questions. Don't rock the boat, boy. Just you go ahead and vote blue, no matter who. Vote all down ballot, blue, 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 blue. Right? Does that sound informed? No, that's not informed. That's just doing what everybody else is doing, and it's gotten us nothing. And so I agree with him on that. Is that we don't know how to, not all of us, but a lot of us don't know how to take in new information. For example, try to tell Christians, watch out now. Try to tell Christians that that's the white man's religion. I'm talking about Black Christians. Try to tell Black Christians that the white man gave that to you so that you could be subservient and do everything you're supposed to do. Oh, no, see, now you're going too far now. My Jesus. And then I'll say to them, just here, close your eyes and envision what Jesus looks like. What does he look like? You probably saw a white man, did you? Because that's what you were taught. You were taught that by white people. No shade to white people, but the point that I'm making is a lot of times when you try to change something that we know to be true, it's almost impossible. Like Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, it's easier to put pants on a camel than to teach the Negro that he is not a Negro, if you will. So it's hard to change our mindset, and it's hard to get new knowledge in there. So I agree with him in that. Like all the things that people are saying about Joe Biden and all the things that he's done to Black people, and you still have Black. Before I got on here with you guys, I was having a heated discussion with somebody else. They said, why are you always going in on Joe Biden? I had a 30-minute conversation with him, and I loosened him up a little bit. But before it was like, no, it's Joe Biden 2020. And I asked him why, and it could not tell me why. So I agree with Ira. We are uninformed, but it's because we want to be. And for those of you guys who go to church, the Bible, I think it's Hosea 3:5 and 6 says, my people were destroyed for their lack of knowledge and their rejection of truth. So when you get the knowledge and you get the truth, it's like, no, I don't want it because that's not what I heard. So I do agree with them. Donovan?
Hey, I'm just going to make a suggestion, especially, when people are talking about politics. If you want to see a good movie that really talks about politics, and Demetra will sign off on this, because when I ran for office, this is kind of where we got a lot of our tips and our tricksters using it. The movie's called A Distinguished Gentleman with Eddie Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
That will exactly tell you how politics are, how people feel towards politics. Vote for the name you know. Come on, brother, with them cornbread and greens. You know they good. You know what I mean? We want to feel good about it. But if we understand politics and the game of it, it's really not a game. This is life and death. So I would suggest everybody to watch that movie and then tell me what you think, message us and say, hey, this is what I think, because it's really going to open your eyes how bills are being passed in Congress and how things get done. Now, fast forward 20 years to today, they've gone for the gusto. They're not going for the $20,000 donation here, the $50 donation there. Right now, while you guys are sitting at home watching this show and you're watching your Netflix later on, whatever, massive transfer of wealth is taking place. They don't talk about the $1.5 trillion that was snuck to the Treasury Department that didn't get any news media. $1.5 trillion. They're not talking about the $1.3 trillion that the Fed Reserve pumps into the economy every day. Massive.
Let me say this here. Ira says historically Negroes who fight for their people die. No one wants to be a martyr in these times. Let me look you in your eye, homeboy. Somebody died so your black ass could go eat anywhere you want to eat. So I know that's like a slug at me, but let me tell you why I'm not afraid of dying. Real simple. I got to die regardless. And if I got to die fighting for my people, then that's what I'm going to do. Do I want to be a martyr? Am I doing this because I need somebody to like me? No. Let's not get it twisted. See, first of all, I'm a fat boy. I live by different philosophies. You know, you're obese. You're too heavy. Well, I won't die hungry. I'm going to die regardless. And that's the problem with us. And that's why when people bring up King and Malcolm, I just kill the conversation. It's really a wasted conversation because you're not built to do some of the things that it takes to even move that needle. You're not built that way. So what we've done is we've accepted certain things. I refuse. If there's no grocery store in my neighborhood, oh, well, the hell with it. I don't want to die because if I stand up for, no, I'll die for that grocery store. The same way I stood in a boardroom in a school district and my stomach was septic. And I was still fighting for them kids. You guys are benefactors of having new schools when they were not going to build none of them. Because one little fat dude with a nasty attitude and a big mouth decided he would stand up for 240,000 kids. Now, if you don't have the backbone to be a black man, then keep your black mouth shut.
Let me just
I ain't in my feelings.
No,
no, hold on. Let me take care of this dude.
Okay. Wait.
You digress, homeboy.
Wait, Gary.
Now you can talk. I just blocked him.
Why though? Why did you? Because listen,
I'm not doing the anti-Negro conversation with nobody.
Listen, because I just read the comment and I think it got misconstrued. I think his comment got misconstrued because I understand.
Tell him to go back to his partner show where they over there misconstruing every black comment.
So you okay?
I'm good.
I was gonna say I understood what he said. I don't know Ira, but I understood, and I don't think he meant. But maybe y'all have some history, so maybe I'm speaking out of turn here. I don't think he meant that at you. I think he was saying in general that heroes are historically. He was saying Negroes die for their people, and he's right. And he also said that people don't want to become a martyr. You know, and I agree with him. You know why? Because we know martyrdom nets people nothing. Like Malcolm X died for his people. Malcolm X died penniless for his people. Malcolm X gave us the game and gave us the blueprint. And what do we do? Even in 2020, it is, fashionable for us to wear a Malcolm X hat. On May 19th, we're going to have all these quotes and Malcolm X this. And I laugh because those people, as my dad says, they're quotologists. They can tell you, oh, he said this and he said that. But are you doing the things he told you to do? And so, and to his point, if nobody wants to die a martyr because there's nothing in it, like you might whisper my name 50 years later, but are you going to be carrying out my works? Same thing with Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey laid down the blueprint over 100 years ago almost. And we are still in the same situation we're in when he was trying to tell us, up you mighty nation, accomplish what you will. And so our people, our heroes, our leaders, they do die in vain. And so to his point, I agree. Why should I, and Gary, why should you, Donovan, why should you put your necks on the line for people who probably wouldn't help have a fucking fish fry to bury you if you died? Where they're gonna have to scrounge up some money to bury you, but you've been giving your life and putting your life on the line for a people, and in a year from now, they might remember you on your birthday, but nobody's going to carry your work. Nobody's going to continue saving those schools and those children. Who's going to step in your footsteps when you're gone? So that's why I agree with him that nobody wants to put their neck on the line for Negroes who are not going to put their necks on the line too. Period.
I don't have in my case, from my personal experience, I don't have a problem doing it because somebody has to do it. Somebody has to be the sacrificial lamb.
But listen, and that's what I'm saying. Somebody, because as they say, freedom ain't free. And Donovan spent 24 years in the military. He done 16 tours of duty when he shouldn't have did that much. You know why he did that? Because everybody else wanted him to put it on the line. Why don't you, Gary, have a whole bunch more people out there doing what you were doing? Freedom is not free, and you realize that one day it's going to cost you something. But it shouldn't just cost you. It should be a whole lot of other people out there doing what you're doing. We're tired and sick and tired of burying our good leaders, people who are actually doing the work. Like, we should never have to bury Nipsey Hussle for whatever reason. That man was doing the work. How many people do you hear talk about Nipsey Hussle today? Unless you're just this big time fan, how many of these, checker flags do you see flying around? How many people do you see putting Nipsey up every day? You don't see it no more. You saw it right after he died. People are going to forget about Nipsey. They're not everybody, but you're not going to see everybody the way they were when he first died. So the point that I'm making is we have all these fallen heroes and we are not continuing their work. And it's sad. And so I got what he was saying. I don't think he meant that toward you. He was just saying basically nobody wants to put it on the line. They want you to do it.
And that's okay, because I don't mind doing it. See, that's the thing. I don't mind doing it because I get what you're saying. I know for a fact that I gotta die. So while I'm here, I'm gonna raise a little hell. I don't know where I'm going when I die. But I tell you what, with the work that I've done, and I don't do it for the accolades. I do it for the kids. I do it for the community. I do it for the seniors. And honestly, when I get sick, this is the part I love. And I go in the hospital, and last time I went in the hospital, people from all over the country gave me my flowers. They appreciate it. They've never seen anything like it. And I'm not traditional because, I do things a little crazy some days. But the thing is, that's what it's going to take. If there was no civil rights movement, if there was no dogs, if there were no water hoses, nothing would have got done. Somebody had to die. They had to. And I agree with you. Nobody's carried on the work. They haven't carried on the work. But in order for us to be able to sit here and do what we do today, somebody had to die. So everything we ever got as a people, we either had to fight for it or we had to die for it. Why we need to change the blueprint. And bottom line, it ain't hard to walk in the city hall and hold the mayor accountable. It ain't hard to walk in and hold a city councilman or alderman accountable. And what this started off as tonight, why is it so easy when we put them on these programs that we refuse to hold them accountable then? So all the work that Demetri K does, Donovan does, I do, and a lot of other people all over the country, when you have people, that is the epitome of a coon. When you have the opportunity to hold them accountable and you refuse, you're snatching the rug from under our feet. With all the work that we've done, you making us take 10 steps backwards. And you can't do that. That was a hard watch for me today. To watch my people do that to my people. So if we can't hold each other accountable, we can't hold no elected official accountable. We can't hold no Democrat accountable. We can't do it. But we got to have a starting point. And like you said earlier, my friend, local government to me is the starting point. Starting at local government. Go ahead, young lady.
And I'll let Donna this. It was a hard watch for you, but was it a hard watch for everybody else? And when you leave out of here, however and whenever you leave, Gary, who is going to step in your place and continue your work?
That's a question. That's a question for me, and I'm gonna answer it seriously. I'm gonna answer it honestly. Ain't nobody gonna do what I do, and I'm gonna tell you exactly why.
And that's when you become a martyr, and if your martyrdom, it would be in vain. And that's the point that he was.
Let me tell you why they can't do it. What I do, I don't even think you and Donovan could do it. When I walk out my house every morning, I got thigh-high boots on. Because I already know the shit I'm finna walk through. Every single day. But what I do, it take a whole lot of guts to do what I do some days. You know, I love a good old school protest. Y'all been to the protesters, right? Back when it was the thing to do. I like protesting at 3 a.m. I like making people uncomfortable. You see what I'm saying? I mean, I show up at a school board meeting with a Burger King hat on and a pamper. Because you're stripping my kids naked. See, it's 100 degrees outside, and it's real. Miss Demetra, I like taking the chains and chaining myself to the fence at the school board. At the school board office. Man, we can't let him die out here. If I die, I'm gonna die for these kids. And all I'm telling you, if I lay there and I die standing on that fence with that chain on me, know that you killed me, because all I was asking for was equity. And that ain't hard to give kids. But guess what? We've accomplished a lot of goals in 8 years. We've got a lot of things done in 8 years. Some of my antics I no longer have to do because the doors are now open to the church. And now I can have a conversation with the pastor. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Donnie. I'm going to tell you, Miss Demetra ain't chaining nothing to the fence. I'm going to tell you why I ain't going to change myself to the fence. Because after they move my corpse and, give it to my loved ones, they're going to go on about business as usual. Because I know that there's probably not going to be a whole lot of people to say, well, let's chain ourselves to the fence. If there's this whole city has to change, they're not going to do that. So I got to save some of me for me and mine. But I think it's more effective when we try to teach our people there's other ways of doing that, like holding our money and teaching our own kids and, all of those things. But I'm not going to do that because the system don't care about me like that. So what? That's one less dead Negro I got to deal with. But to me, we should protest by teaching our people to do better. But ain't no way I'm going out to no school, no protest, or anywhere if I don't have at least 100 people with me. You guys probably watched the news today, and it's all white people all over the country. Hundreds of them. They're at the Capitol here. They was out here in California. Open up the country. We want our country open up. It was hundreds of them. But I'm not gonna chain myself nowhere to die for people who aren't gonna do it for me. Now I get it. The kids need a hero, but their parents should be the hero too. Because you got kids that need you. So, like I said, I get all of that, but I just think there's other ways of doing it.
Donovan?
Right now, if we're talking about being afraid of martyrdom, my thing is, integrity. You got to have the integrity, because what's the number one thing that the United States government fears, Demetra, and you say it all the time? The rise of a Black Messiah and the unity of Black people. So Jerry's all the way in Houston. It sounds like he does the exact same thing I do here.
Exactly.
So, you know, when he falls, somebody eventually will rise, because all it takes is one, you know, like I didn't become the way I am politically because I was watching the Cosby Show. You know, I was reading Malcolm X, and I was reading these things, and I was like standing up for what was right and integrity of my people. And if Jerry falls, hey, I'm a little immature right now. I'm 16. My time is going to come. Then I'm going to stand for the people. And then when my time comes and I have to fall, eventually somebody else is going to pick up for me. You know, and hopefully they'll lead the people in the right way. But we can't be running around here and calling ourselves men, like your dad always says. You can't call yourself a man and walk among them if you don't act like one, right? So as a man, I'm going to lead my community. So, you know, integrity, to me, that's the biggest thing, integrity. I'm not worried about how far I'm going to get. It's where I need to go.
I will make that your final words, my friend Donovan. Final words, Ms. Demetri.
Well, as always, I like having a very spirited discussion with you all, but I saw here somebody says marching and protesting brings attention to a problem. I want more than attention, okay? That's like when I walk into the booth, I want to do more than just vote. I want that vote to grow some damn legs and actually go get me something for my vote. Our people have marched and protested. We even wore holes in every pair of shoes we got. The best way to boycott and to protest is to withdraw our money from this white supremacist economy that eats off of us to the tune of 97% of every dollar we own. That's when you get people's attention, when you start shutting down their economy because you're taking your money from it. But I don't need attention. Best way to boycott, we get plenty of attention. You want to get some results. Stop feeding a system that does not like you. And that's, you know, are you willing to keep your money home? You know, like one thing I will say about the boycott, you know, the bus boycott and Selma and all of that, they were willing to give up something. We ain't willing to give up nothing. All we gonna do is stand up and, you know, well, stop, please treat me better. But are you gonna walk 10 miles one way and back to work like they did? Are you gonna get in the Uber after you get done protesting? So attention is cute, but we want results. And we need to have more than just Gary and your Donovans out there fighting for their communities. It needs to be a handful of us. Stop being mentally lazy and expecting everybody else to get results for you. As Donovan says, my father says all the time, if you don't do what men do, you're not fit to walk amongst men. So if your community is in dire straits, what are you looking for another man to do for you what you can do for your own community? Lace up your boots and go hit the pavement and see what the problem is and be a solution-oriented person. But all this marching and protesting, I tell you one thing, you're not going to never see me out there doing that. Never. Now, if you want to get together and figure out how to make a blueprint and, you know, withhold our money from people who don't like us, I don't care who it is, then I'm with all of that. But out there, when you kumbaya, we shall overcome, I don't think so. That's my final word.
Well, I'm gonna tell you now, I stopped marching and protesting, and because it was too hot. It was too hot out there, and I'm a big dude. I ain't finna be out there sweating like that, and we ain't accomplishing nothing. And that's all we doing. And then you got the crooked Negro pastor leading the march and the protest. I ain't got time for that either no more. I will say this here. It takes a lot to accomplish the goal. We got to figure out what the goal is. What's the end game? What's the end game? For all the people that have talk shows, what's your end game? This is how you confuse voters. This is how you mess the whole game up and it plays into somebody else's hands. The thing I like about this show, all three of us are very, very opinionated. We all have our views. Tonight we differed on a couple of things, but that's all right. We'll kick it when we get through. But at the end of the day, every single day we accomplish the goal that I knew we would accomplish. We wake somebody up every single day. Somebody is waking up every single day. And they're learning something every single day. The sermons that we preach, we just don't preach them just because we want to preach them. We're not the average church. We've yet to pass the collection plate. We don't need your money for the knowledge that you're going to get. Now it's up to you to take that knowledge and apply it. So I tell you what, my sister, I have a gift for you. And tomorrow night, you get to sit with the Southwest Regional Minister of the Nation of Islam. And when I say this, a bad man, Dr. Abdul Halim Muhammad, for those that don't know what that means, you know him as Dr. Robert Muhammad. He'll be here tomorrow night. And the only thing I can tell you, you might want to get your seatbelt, because it's that serious when the good doctors start unleashing the game. So whether you black, white, or whatever, he speaks in a tongue that everybody can clearly understand. He speaks in a tongue that everybody can clearly understand. So with that being said, you know, we have to wake up and we got to get ready to fight these battles, man. I want to thank my good friend, my co-host, Donovan Sadiq, the Nubian Queen, Demetra Kate, and I am the 5-star general, and you just been in the war zone. Tomorrow night, my good friend, and I go to war with him many days, the Southwest Regional Minister of the Nation of Islam, Dr. Abdul Halim Muhammad. When I say the minister sent a real soldier to Houston, he sent a real soldier to Houston. I holler at y'all, man.